Hey, Facebook fans. Sorry we're a couple minutes late today, but we're getting this thing rocking. So I've got three amazing guests today. I've got Jim Justice on the line. He's going to be talking with us about a new app that's out there called The Vibe that's going to help you reprogram your thinking. In studio, I have Craig McClain, and I have Joe, and I can't pronounce your last
Sigurdson.
name. What is it?
Sigurdson.
Sigurdson. Joe Sigurdson. So this is going to be a show all about taking your life and expanding what is possible for you. In fact, we've named it The Courage to Expand What is Possible. It's going to be a blow-away show. So stay tuned. Okay, Todd, let's go.
It's time to take a journey, to find your courage, break through your limits, and master your destiny. It's time for Ken D. Foster's Voices of Courage. Ken brings you some of the most courageous people on the planet that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. It's time to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. It's time for Voices of Courage. And here's your host, Ken D. Foster.
Energy, productivity, focus. How many of you would like to have more of this? Well, on today's show, titled The Courage to Expand What's Possible, I'm going to be talking with the leading experts on how to reprogram your thinking, change your point of view to a higher vantage point, and generate a compelling future, brighter and bigger than you've ever dreamed possible. Hi, I'm Ken D. Foster. I'm your host here on Voices of Courage. And this is going to be one of our most, I believe, powerful shows. It's really life-changing. So how do you have more energy? How do you have more focus? How do you have more power? Well, the first step you got to do is you got to start thinking about changing your point of view. So how do you change your point of view? Well, let me tell you a story to make the point. In April of this year, I had a woman and her coach come into my life, and I like their project. I like what they're doing, so I volunteered to coach them for several months. So between April and August of this year, we met every week. And, you know, as their coach, what I like to do is kind of expand possibilities, help keep people on track with their goals, their visions. And, you know, if there's blocks, I like to help them unleash that and move past their blocks. Well, this woman didn't have a lot of blocks. In fact, in 2014, she had set the overall bicycle speed record, the land bicycle speed record, at 147.7 miles per hour, right? And so that's pretty good. But when she came to me, she had a new dream. And her dream was to break a record that had stood for since 1995. It was set by a fellow by the name of Fred Rumpelberg. And he was out of the Netherlands, and he set the land speed record for bicycles at 165 miles per hour. Somewhere right there. Fred, I'm sorry if I got that exact number wrong. But anyway, it's right 165, 167. She wanted to break that. So we met every week, and, you know, here's a woman that really has taken off the limits. She really doesn't have limits to where she can go, but she's human like all of us, and all of us can get distracted and not have the right resources at the right moment in time. So I helped her with that, and here's the cool thing that she was able to do. Last Sunday, she set the overall land speed record for a bicycle. She shattered the record, the current record that was set in 1995, and she did 183.9 miles per hour on a bicycle. Now, you're asking, how the heck does anybody do that? Does she go pedal downhill? Does she, start at the top of a mountain and go as fast as she can? Well, actually, that's not how they do it. She went out to the Bonneville Salt Flats, and they have about a 4-mile stretch that they can do this in. And she hooks herself up to the back of a dragster, and the dragster pulls her up to about 90 miles an hour because the crank on the bicycle is so large that she can't pedal it till she hits 90 miles an hour. So they pull her up to about 90 miles an hour. She starts to pedal, right? The dragster cuts her loose, and now she drafts behind this dragster up to 183.9 miles per hour, right? Pedaling. She's pedaling up. Now, is this amazing? Is this amazing? So my point in telling you that, first of all, congratulate Denise Mueller-Korenik. Denise Mueller-Korenik. And you can look at on Facebook, you can go to Project Speed to see Denise. You can actually see the video. I put it on my Facebook page. So if you go to Ken D. Foster's Facebook page, or actually Voices of Courage, I believe it's on all of them, I'm pretty sure, you'll see the actual video of her accomplishing this incredible feat, right? And so I tell you this story not only to congratulate Denise and the team, because what an incredible feat, but also to make a point. All of us have limitations, and all of us have limitations that are really, in a lot of ways, stopping us from developing exactly what we want. So, the real question is, how do you get out of your limited beliefs? How do you say, wow, I want to accomplish something much greater in this world? And for a lot of you, it's not making a world record. But for some of you, it's like, well, I want to contribute in this world in a much greater way. I want to break the limits of my own contribution. Almost every millennial that I speak to today, first thing I ask them is, what do you want to do? And they all say the same question. I want to make an impact. It's pretty amazing. And, my generation wasn't really about that. We were kind of the me generation. It's all about me.com. But this up-and-coming generations are that way. And honestly, what I found, in fact, I follow Zig Ziglar's advice as a motivational speaker from a million years ago. Zig, I love you. Bless your heart, man, because, he really set the stage for my life. And he told me, you know what? If you give enough people what they want, you'll get what you want. And so it really is a life of service, isn't it? It is. So to change our points of view, one of the things we can do is to go into service, right? So to be in service is something for a lot of you, you're going to have to change your focus. For me, to get into service, I had to stop thinking about me. I had to think about others and how I could contribute and how I could make a difference in other people's world, right? So I know that you can change your focus, because focus is one of the keys that we need to do, by just starting to look for ways that you can contribute. Maybe look for organizations, look for the good in organizations, right? In fact, that reminds me of a quick story. There's a woman that came into my life that she wanted to change how she felt about herself. And I said to her, well, why don't you go out and just start radiating love, whatever that means to you, to everybody you see. She said, what does that mean? I said, I don't know, put a smile on your face, Start pretending like you feel good about yourself. Look for the good in everything. You know what happened to her? She came back about a week later and thought I was some kind of a god or a guru, right? Her whole life had changed. She said little kids were walking up to her and holding her on her in the grocery store. They were tagging on her, looking at her, and she didn't even like little kids at the time. They're just connecting with this love, right? So can we change our point of view by changing our focus? Absolutely. I think the other way that we change our point of view is changing our physiology, right? So I think that, in fact, I know. I was in a place where I tore my medial meniscus in my knee, and I thought, I want to start running. I want to start doing something different, right? But the pain always was coming back. So my point of view changed when I met this guy by the name of Goss Lindsay. He said, listen, you know what? If you can move pain a millimeter out of your body, a millimeter, you can move it out of your body. I went, that's interesting. I started working with Goss, and the pain in my knee that I had carried for about 10 years actually moved out of my body. I became a runner. I started running marathons and doing all kinds of cool things. Why am I telling you all this stuff, right? Because I want you to break through the limits that you have on your mind. I want you to break through and see in your own life that there are so much more possibilities for you. But of course, one of the ways we have to do that is reprogram our thinking. So in my next segment, how would you like to find out how to reprogram your thinking on a consistent basis? We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit kendfoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit kendfoster.com. That's kendfoster.com. kendfoster.com.
Are you feeling stuck? Or Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, welcome back. And today we're talking about the courage to expand what is possible. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Women's Wisdom. Women's Wisdom is San Diego's premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired female entrepreneurs. You can find them at womenswisdom.net. That's womenswisdom.net. Also, you know, as a business owner, your online presence is more important than ever. People will look you up online before they'll pick up the phone, and that's why the right image of yourself and branding of your business is vital. Well, listen, I've come across the best photographer that I know of in San Diego. Her name is Ann Landstrom, and the company's AnnPhotography.com. I recommend you give her a call. She promises to give you images that will bring out the best in you and your business. That's AnnPhotography.com. AnnPhotography.com, 760-610-6263. Wow, I've been looking forward to this segment because in this segment I have a person that has inspired me and really helped me change the way that I deliver my message in the world. His name is Jim Justice. Jim, are you there?
Yeah. Hey, Ken. How are you?
Oh, gosh, I'm so good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Great.
Good. Well, listen, Jim, you have an app out there that I believe is going to change the way that people really wake up in the morning and do their day, which is really powerful. Jim, tell our guests or our listeners a little bit about your background, how you got into this, into the app. And by the way, for those of you that are wondering, the name of the app is called The Vibe.
Yeah, so my background is mainly in general business, I have an MBA, got an economics undergrad degree, and have spent most of my life in the startup world, actually, and mostly in software. About a year ago, my neighbors, who live quite close to me, and I became good friends. And they write a daily newsletter. It's a mindfulness perspective newsletter called Gratitude 24/7, and it's daily. It comes out by email, and they had a pretty good following. And I myself became a follower of them and received these emails every day, and really, was struck by the impact that their messaging had on my life. And just like you were saying earlier, it really, and all these messages together, cumulatively come down to one thing: perspective. Adjusting your perspective and being comfortable with a new perspective that is more aligned with who you want to be and how you see the world in a way that it's going to benefit you and the people around you. So we started talking, and I found out that the only way that they distribute their content was through email. And, with my software background, I thought that, that there must be a better way to do this. And we got up on a whiteboard and came up with the concept for the Vibe app. We then took it one step further, and we decided, why don't we make this a platform for other people like you? I mean, there are millions of people out there who receive some sort of personal transformation email every morning from probably hundreds, if not dozens, of writers. And so we decided to put together a platform to make it a better delivery system for the user and for the writer themselves.
Well, when you and I first talked, I told you this. I said, Jim, I need inspiration not only in the good times, or in the bad times, but also in the good times. In the bad times, it inspires me to get up and do what I probably need to be doing. And that's good. But in the good times, right, it keeps me on point. I don't know about you. I can get lazy in the good times, right, when things are all going easy. So it's really important, I think, to have this daily drip on the consciousness, on the mind every day, so that we're really starting to expand and stay in those higher realms of thinking or higher realms of consciousness, whatever we want to call it, so that we're in a place where we are not being impacted, let's say, by our emotions on a consistent basis, but we're tuned into something a little greater than ourselves. Well, is that kind of sums up why you did this, or why'd you do this, Dale? I mean, I got why you did it with your neighbor, but I want to get a little deeper under the surface. Why'd you really do it?
That's a great question, and I think it comes down to two reasons. One, I was inspired, and I personally evolved with this, and I felt kind of the power of perspective, and really the power of the guidance that we could deliver to help you achieve that perspective, right? And the second was I saw a business opportunity. There's generally where there's a need, there's a good business opportunity, and I thought, hey, let's see what we can do to actually reward the writers for the hard work that they're doing, and also provide something of enormous value. Let me mean that enormous value.
Let me ask you this, Jim. What sets this app? What makes this app different from the other apps that we can? There's a lot of apps out there that'll, give you kind of a daily drip right now. What sets the Vibe apart?
Well, we kind of throw ourselves in the mindfulness category, right? And generally in the mindfulness category, you have either sort of personal transformation, which is, I guess, you could consider a path to mindfulness, or you have mindfulness apps themselves. Mindfulness apps have become very popular. Most people are probably aware. In fact, a mindfulness app won Apple's App of the Award, Award of the Year. I'm sorry, App of the Year award. It's called Calm. but most of the mindfulness apps focus almost entirely on meditation. And the personal transformation apps generally are put out by individuals who have their own messaging to put out there. We decided to take sort of a balanced approach. First of all, kind of combining the meditation side with the guidance side. As I mentioned earlier, we created this as a platform for multiple writers so that the user, when they download the app, they can have their choice of their particular flavor.
Okay, so let me just ask you this, okay? You know, I know that you have specific thought leaders on this app, right? So you've got myself, you've got Barbara DeAngelis, you got Neil Donald Walsh, you got a few people in the works. How do you pick these guys or women?
Well, first of all, we look for diversity. You know, mindfulness and personal transformation is a very broad space. We do look for people who are aligned with our general concepts that we believe are effective. And we also look for people who also have a current following, who have kind of developed their message to the point where they've proven that they can affect and move a certain group of people. And that also plays into a nice business model as well. We want to bring authors in who also can bring people into the app through their exposure. So.
Okay. Jim, listen, we're just about out of time here. I want you to tell the guests, how do they get a hold of the app? Where do they find it? How do they get a hold of you?
So vibe.me is where you can learn about the app, and you can find links to the apps in the App Store and on Android as well. They can send us a note anytime they have questions to support@vibe.me. And I do want to point out we had a choice of making this a supported by. We had to support the app, so we either had to support it through advertising or supported it through a premium model. We decided to go with a nice, clean, kind of beautiful app that was advertising free. So we have a low-cost subscription of $2.99.
Do they have a trial date?
A free week.
Can they get it for free for a week or day or something like that, or what? How do they do that? Or they just sign up for the $3?
They can get it free for a week and try it out and see if they like it, and we most certainly will. So.
That's great. Okay, vibe.me, vibe.me. Is that correct, Jim?
That's right.
Okay, thank you so much, Jim, for being part of this.
Hey,
I love the vibe. I love the app, and in fact, my in-studio guests are just putting it on their phone right now. So there you go. How you love that?
Congratulations to Denise.
Thanks so much.
That's fantastic news.
Okay, listen. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to be talking about the commonality of the shooters, the high school shooters. What do they all have in common? My next guests are going to answer that. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
Would you like to help someone in need to move from poverty to prosperity? Stars of Courage, a 501c3 nonprofit, is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Question for you. Do you have teenagers at home? Or do you have boys at home specifically that maybe you're struggling a little bit? Or do you know somebody with a boy that's struggling? Well, my next guests have co-founded an organization called Boys to Men, and they help boys follow their dreams. So my very special, I'm just really thrilled to have both of you in studio. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Joe, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have
Ken.
both of you. So let me just introduce them properly. You know, Craig McClain is the executive director of Boys to Men. He's guided the formation of the growth of the organization. He's a visionary in the truest sense of the word for the entire organization. And Craig's business experience, 20 years of small business ownership combined with his vision and commitment, have been the driving force behind the Boys to Men movement. Also here is his co-founder, Joe Sigurdson. And Joe has been active in the Mankind Project during interpersonal work for the past 21 years. His experiences in both Boys to Men and the Mankind Project have given him the insight in what he believes is lacking in our society, especially with teenage boys. He has worked with thousands of men and boys around the country. Joe and Craig, welcome. Here. Yes. You're here.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank
How
you.
are we going to make a difference today?
Well, let's talk about getting people to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
So truth means a lot of things to a lot of people. Is there like one truth or the truth, or is when we say that, what does that mean?
Well, what we do, and what we ask boys to do is tell the truth about who you are and what you're going through right now.
Yeah.
And one of our kids said to me, he said, everybody at the school is an 8th grader, walks around pretending like everything's okay. Well, it's not okay. And so when we can talk about when our lives are not okay and when they are okay, that's when we get some work done.
Wow. Okay. I love the way we started that. Go, Joe.
Well, you know, we're working with some of the most at-risk kids in the schools. You know, the kids that come to Boys to Men are initially they're assigned to us through counselors and through the administrators and faculty members, and so these are kids that are already struggling. You know, they're struggling with gangs or drugs or behavioral or emotional stuff. You know, and so the truth is really important in that context. And the way we get to the truth with these young men is the men, when we show up, we have teams of men that show up every week to sit in circles with these guys. We share our truth. We talk about our struggles. We've talked about the choices we've made, the consequences we've paid, and the belief systems that we've held about ourselves. And when we tell the truth, we set that sacredness in the circle that says this is a safe place, and it gives the boys permission for them to open up and talk about the choices they're making right now and the price they're paying for those choices right now. And then we get to challenge them and say, is this what you want? And we help them identify what they really want, and then say, well, what's one thing you can do different this week to move towards becoming the man you want to be? Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I want to back up a little bit because I know some of you are going, Boys to Men, what is that? Where are they? When did they start? They started in 1996. They have 11 chapters, or 11 cities. They have chapters in 11 cities currently.
Yeah.
And so let's say I'm a teenage boy and I'm lost, right? How do I find you? What happens? Yeah, give me a little bit of that, Craig.
Well, before we talk about who we are, I think it's important to let your audience know what the truth is about what's going on with these teenage boys today. That 33% of teenage boys are growing up without a father.
33%.
33%.
That's the average. There's population pockets where that's like 90%.
Yes, and that one factor makes them 20 times more likely to go to prison. And that's a pretty hard truth.
Yeah.
When you talk about a kid that's more likely to go to prison than he is to go to college.
Yeah.
And that's one of the truths that we've learned over the last 22 years when we started this is society has changed so dramatically with the divorce rate, out of wedlock birth, other various loss of community. Everybody's doing their cell phone now. No one's talking to their neighbor. And these boys have lost community, lost fathers, lost family, and they're stuck with themselves. And that's why gangs are growing exponentially. That's why these school shootings are happening. That's why the crime rate has gone through the roof. That's why the prison population has gone through the roof. And it follows the pattern of divorce. As the divorce rate rises, so does the prison incarceration rate. So that's a truth that people need to know.
Well, Joe, you told me that one of the things that all the mass shooters have in common is what?
Yeah, most of them don't have a dad, but beyond that, most of them are isolated and disconnected from not just family, but from their communities. They get spun out in the internet, and they're looking at pornography, and they're looking at white supremacist stuff, and with no sounding board or no one to challenge their thinking, or no one to say, hey, dude, what's going on? What are you thinking? What are you doing here? Then they only have that one voice in their head, and that voice just keeps feeding that same information and going deeper into the darkness. And when that darkness comes to like an explosive point, this is when really horrible things happen, like they show up at schools with guns. But Ken, that's just the tip of the sword, because like right down from the tip of the sword, they're not just killing others, but they're killing themselves. They're getting lost in drugs and alcohol, and they're acting out in all kinds of other unhealthy, self-destructive ways.
Yeah. Well, it's an epidemic. I mean, we have 50 million people right now living below the poverty line in San Diego. In the nation, 50 million people. 700,000 in San Diego, by the way.
Yeah, and 496,000 or 46,000 fatherless teenage boys.
46,000.
46,000 in San Diego County alone. Excuse me, fatherless boys.
Fatherless boys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we really need the program.
Yeah.
So how do you recruit the boys?
Well, we started this, and we would work with any boy. That single moms would find us, and we'd meet in a park, and then we decided we'd take this to the schools because it worked so well. So we took it into the schools, and we're now doing it for boys in the schools during the school day. So the best way for kids to get involved, and a lot of kids probably won't be listening to this, but a lot of moms will.
Right.
So go to your school and ask if Boys to Men is there. We're in 51 different middle schools and high schools in San Diego County, and if it's not, tell them you want it.
Yeah.
And we will come. Right now, we've got a waiting list of schools. We don't have enough money. We don't charge the schools anything, but we do it for free because it needs to be done right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the funding part I'll get to later, but that's wow. Boys to Men program. Tell me what the program is.
Yeah, I think I kind of hit on some of the stuff, but yeah. So we get invited into a school. The counselors and administrators identify the boys, and they send them to a Boys to Men group, and then a group of strangers show up, and we're sitting in a circle with these guys, and it'll take us maybe 6 weeks for them to understand that we're here. We're not going anywhere, and we're here unconditionally. So
by a group of strangers, you mean a group of men, a group of mentors show up.
Exactly.
So we are
Yeah.
we are a group mentoring program. We're not one-on-one mentoring.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for that clarity, Craig.
Okay.
Yeah. So a team of men show up, and we start off, like I said, we share our truths, we share our stories about the choices we made as young men, and the belief systems we've held, and eventually what happens is these guys start connecting with us because we consistently show up, and then when they feel that sacredness and that safety of the circle, then they start opening up. And every week, when they make these new choices, our job is to give them support during the week, and that can look like a phone message or a text message or a Facebook message, so that when they're getting support on these new choices. And then the following week, when the boys come back to group, we do accountability and have them check in to see how it went.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's awesome. This is just an awesome thing. I'm speaking with Craig McClain and Joe Sigurdson, and this is the Boys to Men. You can find them at boystomen.org. They're going to be back in my next segment. We're going to be talking about, I want to know how do you know it even works? We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
Would you like to help someone in need to move from poverty to prosperity? Stars of Courage, a 501c3 nonprofit, is looking for established life coaches with experience in education and career mentorship to build confidence and create clear paths to success. Join our team of experienced coaches in a wide variety of fields, equipped with warm hearts with a passion for lifting up those in need. Our Stars of Courage. Find out how you can make a difference at starsofcourage.org. That's starsofcourage.org.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Welcome back. Today, our show is called The Courage to Expand What is Possible. And I have in studio with me Craig McClain and Joe Sigurdson. And they are the co-founders of Boys to Men. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you the question about how it works, but during the break, Craig asked me, he said, do you remember what it felt like to be a teenager? And I thought, yeah, I sure do. I remember the isolation. I remember not feeling like I didn't have a body image that I liked. I remember not feeling smart enough. I remember, being bullied. I could remember all of it. Yeah. So, I'm right there with you. So, when these kids come in and they're feeling like that, what happens?
You know, what happens is they come into the circle of boys and men, and they hear one boy start to talk about what's really going on in his life, in his world, what's really going on, the truth, that maybe his dad's in jail, his mom's going out with different guys, bringing them home, sleeping with them on the couch, whatever the horrors are, smoking weed in front of them.
Smoking pot, yelling at the kids.
Yeah, whatever. And they hear one kid talking about that, and they start going, that's what's going on with me. And so all of a sudden now everybody's listening, everybody's into it, everybody becomes this circle, this community where everybody knows what's going on, and it's all the same. Yeah. It's all the same.
Yeah,
it's very compelling to watch the kids react to each other, because you can almost see their eyes getting bigger and going, "Oh man, that happened to me too. That's what's going on in my house," And then they don't feel alone, and then they can lean on each other, and I mean physically, like when a guy's sharing a story, these guys start leaning in, and even the kids that don't have that going on in their house, they're there to to support them and to let them know, hey man, I got
your back. So when a child feels like they belong, right, what happens then?
That sets them free. All of a sudden now they know they have a support system where they can fall down and they have someone to pick them up. Yeah. And they have people that they know feel like them, so they're not alone anymore. They're not the only one who feels like they're weird. They're not the only one who's scared.
Yeah.
And there's a society today is for teenage boys is not no fear, no fear. That's what it is. It's like you can't have fear.
Right.
as a teenage boys. But what we teach them is no fear, K-N-O-W. You got to understand your fear
Yeah.
and understand your anger and work through it. And that's what a community does.
That's what a community does.
Yeah.
And in fact, in years past, right, in societies, we actually had systems for that. We had structure for that.
Yeah.
We really
Yeah.
don't in this society.
Yeah.
We actually didn't. At 1900, there were no high schools.
Right.
It was all one-room schools, K
Wow.
through 12.
Yeah.
Now we send these 13-year-old kids to a middle school, and they spend all day with 1,000 13-year-old kids and 12 adults.
Wow. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how do you know this works? What are the results that are coming out of this?
Well, I get to see it's going to work in every day with a young man named Joe Ross. And Joe, when he first started our program 8 years ago, was one of the angriest kids I'd ever seen. He never smiled, and even the teachers were afraid of him.
Yeah.
And today, Joe has totally changed. He's a wonderful young man, and he's working for Boys to Men, and he goes back to his old school and facilitates the group. So he's one of the facilitators. And we see this every day where these angry kids just change, turn around, and start smiling again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Joe?
Yeah. So, well, we know it works because these guys are making new choices every week. And in those new choices, they're getting support from their mentors, and then the following week they're getting accountability from the group. And so week by week they're making new choices, and week by week they're getting support and accountability, and they're getting rid of their secrets, and they're unburdening their souls, and they're feeling free. And when they feel better, they do better. And we don't do any tutoring, but we but we know it works because we see their grades go up, their attendance go up, and the biggest one, Ken, is their discipline problems virtually fall off the charts. And these are the troublemakers in the school, and they stop getting in trouble. And then that leadership has this ripple effect out because these guys are leaders. But when they get themselves turned around, man, everyone that's following them is going, well, maybe I should stop doing that too. And what happens is, we'll start with 6 or 8 kids in the beginning of the year, and by the end of the year, we've got 20 boys and Boys to Men.
That's awesome.
And because it's a program of attraction. People see the difference that these guys are making, and they want to become a part of it.
So, how do people get involved with Boys to Men?
Well, if you want to be a mentor, you can go online at www.boystomen.org, and there's a sign up. We screen our mentors very carefully, and but you're not out there alone as a mentor. You're with a group of men, and it's a really cool thing to show up to the school with 5 or 6 other guys and know that if you can't show up that week, somebody else has your back.
Yeah.
So you can go online there. Actually, right now we're doing our big fundraiser, so you can go make a donation to Joe Sigurdson's page and support us to get into more schools.
Are you doing the challenge?
Yeah, the 100-wave challenge.
Challenge. Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
Tell me
And
about
actually,
that.
if you're a surfer, you can sign up and go raise some money and change a boy's life yourself.
Yeah.
Just by catching 100 waves. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Sunday, October 7th.
Okay.
It's the 100 Wave Challenge.
Right.
It's kind of like a Susan B. Komen model.
Okay.
We register surfers, we recruit surfers, give them 10 hours to catch 100 waves,
Wow.
and they get people to pledge per wave,
Okay.
and it's a really great day for the surfers. The whole event is geared to making sure they're successful. Soup Plantation is serving breakfast. We're going to have a surfers lounge on the beach, 1,500 square feet of shade with AstroTurf and couches and hydration station, nutrition station, massage therapists,
Dr.
yoga
Bronner.
classes. Yeah, Dr. Bronner's Magic Soap's going to be having products out there for us. The whole day is really a family event. A lot of the surfers bring their kids, and we've got sand castle building on the beach, and it's going to be at Mission Beach, right? And you can register online, and it starts at 6 in the morning.
Register
It goes till
online at Boys to Men.
100wave.org. 100wav.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
100.
Sean Thompson is a former world champion. Sean Thompson is our spokesperson. He'll be out there. Damian Hobgood, who surfed the WSL for 16 years and is now on the double XL Wave Tour, he's going to be out there. So it's going to be a great, great day of community and surfing and
That's
fun.
awesome. That's
fun in the
okay,
sun.
one final question, then I got to run here on this segment. Can somebody? Oh, actually, you know what? I got a little more time than I thought. Can somebody that has never surfed before go out there and get on a surfboard and ride 100 waves?
No,
probably not.
But they can get on a boogie board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or body surf.
Or a body surf.
Yeah.
They can ride 100 waves
Just
on a
show
boogie
up.
board.
Yeah,
show up.
Yeah. And then we also have Surf Angels. So if you don't surf at all and you're not going to do it, we've actually spent the summer teaching a lot of our boys how to surf, and they're surfing as a boys team. And a Surf Angel can link their funds so it goes right to the boys team, and the boys will catch waves in proxy for them, and the Surf Angel can get their own landing page and send this out and to their family and friends and see if they won't support Boys to Men.
That's awesome, man. You know, it sounds to me like every teenager needs this program, not just troubled kids.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's something that. Any final thoughts, Craig, that you want to share here with our listeners?
I think as we're talking about courage, and the courage to tell the truth is really what we're talking about, and that's if we can teach that to our younger generation, to not just the ones that are disconnected, but to all of them. We're going to change the world right there.
We're going to change it one kid at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
One volunteer at a time.
Yeah.
boystomen.org. Listen, when I come back, we're going to be talking about the courage to dive into the unknown parts of yourself. We've been talking about what we can do with Boys to Men and how they're teaching it. But you know what? Let's talk about how you can do it this week. I'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
Attention business owners. The feeling of being overwhelmed, stressed out, and facing difficult business challenges goes hand in hand with being an entrepreneur. But there are solutions, and it's time to explore the possibilities. You work hard as an entrepreneur. Give yourself the break you deserve. Ken D. Foster is the business coach for you. Ken has over 21 years of experience with leaders just like you, who trust to share what is truly going on in their business and that thing called life. You're invited to set up a free confidential consultation with Ken. His wisdom, guided methods, and unique strategies will bring you to new heights and break through obstacles. Visit kendfoster.com to set up your free confidential consultation. It's time to achieve your dreams because you deserve a successful business and a balanced, happy life. Sound great? Find out how to make this happen. Visit kendfoster.com. That's kendfoster.com. kendfoster.com.
Are you feeling stuck or in a holding pattern with your business or life, and you're not doing the things you want or love? Then at some point, you're going to be faced with a decision. You'll either choose to keep living in your comfort zone and risk a life of mediocrity, or increase your courage, step into your power, and forge into the unknown, where everything new becomes possible. If you're truly ready to live masterfully, then you need Ken D. Foster's newest book, The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. This powerful but simple guide provides you with 365 days of life-transforming wisdom, profound questions, and action steps that will increase your strength and open the doors to success. Stop wondering why your business or life isn't working. The answers are available now. Imagine if you had more courage or another chance to start following your dreams. To pick up your copy of The Courage to Change Everything, visit thecouragetochangeeverything.com. That's thecouragetochangeeverything.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, welcome back. What an amazing day we've had in studio with our guests. We're talking about Boys to Men, last two segments. It's been amazing. And for those of you that are on Facebook, Craig and Joe are in studio still. They're waving at you, smiling, and encouraging you to go to boystomen.org to check this all out. Also, I'd like to mention our sponsor, Women's Wisdom. Women Connecting Women in Friendship and Business. They are San Diego's premier networking and relationship building group for purpose-driven and soul-inspired female entrepreneurs. They have meetings here in San Diego. I'm sorry if you're out of town. You'll either have to fly in or miss it, but actually you don't have to miss it. They have a lot on their website, womenswisdom.net. womenswisdom.net. They have meetings once a month here in San Diego in the Rancho Santa Fe area at the Morgan Run Country Club. And they have been going since 1991. They have some of the most powerful women speakers on the planet. I know that the top motivational speaker in the world today, Lisa Nichols, visited that event 2 months ago. And they got a special guest coming up next month. So you want to check them out, womenswisdom.net. Okay, I have a new book coming out. Some of you know this, and the reason I wrote this book is I believe that courage is a transcending energy that if you tap into it, if you become engaged in your courageous acts on a daily basis, that things change for you. They change people's lives. They change children's lives. They change our lives. All of us here are growing and learning. This is a school. You're not here with a dress rehearsal. We're here to grow, evolve, and become all we can be. I believe that the greatest thing we can do in this world is become a servant leader and to give back in ways that are unique to you, your own gifts, your own talents, your own abilities. And every day, everybody, including myself and those that have been on this path for many years, you don't wake up feeling 100% every day. You wake up, some days you don't even want to get out of bed. Some days you're just struggling, right? But that's why I wrote this book, because I know that we need inspiration on a daily basis. Whether we're at the high of our life or at the low of our life, we all need inspiration, and we need a little wisdom. I'm convinced we don't need more information. In this world, there's plenty of information. You can Google anything. What we need is wisdom, and we need to be able to tap into our own wisdom so that we can start to outpicture that wisdom in our lives, in our family lives, in our communities, in our politics, everywhere. Don't want to get me going on politics, but I sure see what's going on in the country. We're so polarized, and political views are very entertaining, but they may not be doing anything for you. I encourage my listeners to tune into themselves, take some time for themselves, and be inspired on a daily basis. Do something that you've never done before. Okay, the book called The Courage to Change Everything, Strategies and Wisdom to Transform Your Life One Day at a Time. I want to read from page 59, give you a little excerpt and idea of what this book is all about and how it can transcend your life. I start out with a quote. It says, "It's with courage that we must delve into the unknown parts of ourselves and realize the truth of who we are and what's possible. Truth told, everyone has what it takes to create an amazing life. Problems come when you circumscribe your power by tuning into thoughts such as, the project's too large for me, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I'll never get ahead, I'm too old, I'm too young." There are many thoughts we focus on that limit our success, but it's been said many times that the truth will set you free. In fact, Joe said that earlier in studio. When you constantly talk to yourself in an empowering way, you'll be amazed at how fast you can turn things around. Why affirm the negatives yourself? This will only hurt you. Affirm the goodness in you. Tune into your greatness, and you will be miles ahead of the pack. Today, ask, what are the 3 steps necessary for me to generate unending success? What has to happen for me to create the life of my greatest dreams? And what will I affirm about myself daily until the desired changes take place? The actions: be the powerful being that you are, and come up with 10 empowering things that are true about yourself. Then pick one and say it repeatedly until you feel it permeating through your being. So, what would one truth be that we might say about ourselves, right? Well, I could say I'm a schmuck. I'll never get ahead. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm gray. I'm worn out. I could say that, right? Or I could say the truth. And the truth is, I'm an infinite being, just as you are, with a soul, with power that flows through that soul, flows through my being. I can connect to wisdom instantly when I still my mind. In fact, we were talking before in the green room with one of my guests today. We were talking about stillness and how powerful that is. How powerful it is just to create a daily practice of being still. We don't have to go to the forest to be still. We don't have to go to sensory deprivation tank to get still. We can actually do it in our own home, and we can do that by quieting the mind and sitting still. In fact, I'll just tell you this. I learned to meditate years ago, and for me, when I learned, I could sit maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes until I would just want to bolt out of my seat. So I know a lot of people start that way, but there's so much study, and you can Google all the studies on meditation if you haven't already. If you have, though, the right techniques in meditation, you can go deep really quickly. In fact, I learned some of the right techniques on meditation, and I was able to sit about my fourth month into it. I was able to sit for about 8 hours once I learned the techniques, right? So you can get some of those techniques for free on my website. If you go to kendfoster.com, kendfoster.com, go under my resource center there, and there's a little pamphlet there that will help you to learn. There's some articles from MIT and Harvard about meditation. There's some guided meditations on there that you can learn that technique. And then there's some deeper techniques that you can learn if you subscribe to one or two of the teachers that I have on there. So, what a great show this has been. I'm so happy to be able to deliver every week the information that I deliver to you. By the way, if you like me, if you like what we're hearing here, I want you to go to voicesofcourage.us, and on Facebook, search for Voices of Courage Radio. And if you're so inclined, I hope you'll let your friends know about us. One last thought. This week, I hope you'll focus on changing the pattern of your life. And if you're not happy with the way things are going, do whatever it takes to change it. Until next time, live courageously and see the unseeable. Know the unknowable and do the impossible.
Thanks for joining us for Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. Be sure to join us next Sunday at 10 a.m. as Ken brings more stories of courage that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. This has been Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.